Hell is Us is a third-person action-adventure game that blends the old-school thrill of exploration and discovery with a deeply satisfying melee combat system. You're going to wield a lot of different weapons, master various skills, and strategically use your drone's abilities to gain the upper hand in battle. But combat is only 50% of the experience. The other half of the game is all about the exploration, the discovery, the joy that's related to them, and how they play a central role in your journey.
Do you know where the village of Jova is located?
It's in Akasa Marshes. It's quite a ways from here.
So you play as Remy, and you're returning to the country you were born in, the country's called Hadia, and search for answers, but only to find that the land is torn apart by a vicious civil war. With only a few pieces of information to start with, so you'll have to investigate to uncover the truth about your past and figure out where to go next. But unlike traditional games, Hell is Us doesn't rely on quest markers or a guided path. There's no magical compass pointing you in the right direction, and there's no quest journal with, the shopping list of everything that you need to do and in which order. But instead, our player plattering approach encourages you to follow your own instincts, discover clues organically, and chart your own course through the adventure. In this sequence, we just arrive at a village called Jova. This is the village where Remy was born. He remembers that. He also remembers one more clue, which is his father was the blacksmith of Jova. So these are kind of like the earliest clues that you have in the game in order to decide what to do, where to go, who to talk to, and how to chart your own path into trying to find your parents.
Hey. Who are you?
I'm Rebecca. I've been hiding here since the attack on Jova, when the bombs fell from the sky. I was playing in the treehouse with my baby brother. My parents ran out and screamed at us to get down. My baby brother ran to them. That's when the bomb exploded.
So, I'm looking for the blacksmith. Do you know where he is?
I don't know him very well. I think he doesn't like kids much. I saw some villagers leaving with the ON peacekeepers on their white trucks. Maybe he went with them.
Hey, did you see where the white trucks went?
I watched the white trucks drive away. They took the road that turns behind the hill with the ancient monuments. We can see them from here.
So as you saw, we just learned that the blacksmith probably left with one of the humanitarian convoys from the organized nations, which are the peacekeeping forces stationed in the country. We've also found a map that appears to show a route coming out of the Akasa Marshes. So we'll stop here for now. We've gathered a few clues. We have a bit of an idea where to go next for our investigation. We've shown you how things work a little bit and how you can connect the dots. But, I want you guys to discover it for yourself when the game comes out in September. In this section, we're stepping away from the main investigation to explore the many hidden secrets and side investigations scattered throughout Hadia. You can complete the game without ever uncovering them. But if you're curious and observant, you might just stumble upon some incredible discoveries. Our core philosophy is simple. If your instinct tells you there's something to do, then there probably is. The footage you're seeing now showcases just a few of the many secrets woven into Hell is Us. These are playful examples of how the game handles secondary investigations, but they perfectly illustrate our approach.
I'm only permitted to play Sabinian classics, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I only happen to know one of their dreadful compositions.
There are countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. If you trust your instincts, you'll find yourself solving some truly fascinating mysteries along the way. Now, when we talk about player plattering, it doesn't mean you'll constantly need to overthink every step to progress. Many elements will be clear and intuitive, as our belief is that you actually don't need quest markers to navigate and advance in the adventure. That being said, for those who love a challenge, Some of these deeper secrets will require keen observation and deduction to be uncovered. Good luck. Take another look at the sequences we've just shown in this video and share with us your first ideas on how to solve this last secret. Let's see who can connect the dots first.
I rationed his milk as long as possible, but ran out yesterday. Poor Uli is starving. I don't know how I can possibly get any more.
So now let's take a little pause from the combat and let's go back to the investigation and the exploration. So, like I said, there's no silver plattering. There's none of these kind of like fly-by-wire. It's up to you to figure out what your kicker is. What I mean by kicker is what you're supposed to achieve at this specific moment, what you're actually looking for, where to look for it, and how to look for it, right? Remy and the players are at a ratio of information which is 1-1.
It's in Akasa Marshes. It's quite a ways from here.
So one of the tools that we're providing you to still kind of help you a bit and manage this 1-1 kind of like knowledge ratio is your data pad. Think of it as a bit your investigation wall, if you want, but in a digital 90s format. So your clues, your leads, the important people that are related to your investigation, trying to find your parents and a lot more eventually, are all stored here. They're linked together by the relationships, and now it's up to you to go and investigate about them.
I don't remember when it happened, but I remember how I felt. Father told us to hide when they came to our house. Then they took him away. Mother said I couldn't play outside anymore. Everyone had fled. She said the country was sick, but we would be okay. Mother always said monsters didn't exist. I thought they lived under my bed. We were both wrong. They live inside our heads.
emotions, sparks the wildfire of violence. It dissolves our illusions and exposes the fragile structure of reality.
I have 1,000 questions. Why did you come back?
I stood in the home I was born in. In that moment, I felt a connection.
Epsilon 11, sound off. Where are my men?
They're gone.
Choose your next move wisely.
What happened here?
Madness and hatred and lots of it. Impossible. It's you. We must continue. We've begun to uncover.
So there's a wide variety of enemies in the game. So we have kind of like the more common enemy type, which we call the Hollow Walker. So it's these kind of humanoid bipedal white enemies that you can see here with the holes in their faces and their chests and whatnot. So obviously there's a reason why they're called Hollow Walkers, and there's different types of them and different kind of tiers of strength and powers. But when you're facing pretty much the biggest threats in the game, it's what we call like a dual entity. So it's like a Hollow Walker has a haze inside of it. So it's when the haze is present. I'm not going to get into the details right away of what the haze represents. It's all part of the lore and what you will figure out in the game. But when you're facing a combo like these dual entities, and it can go to like 3 of them, 4 of them, there's the herders, there's the fervents, and different types like that. But that's when you really need to master the combat system. That's when you start having to use all the tools and techniques at your disposal. The drone has tons of skills to upgrade it, and the drone is very much your little sidekick to help you in fighting multiple enemies at a time. He's not a sidekick in the sense where he talks and he has an AI. He's very much a drone that has its own protocol to do this crowd management during the combat. So you have your different weapons, you have your limbic skills, attack to weapons, which is basically you consider as your magic, even though in the game it's not considered magic, there's kind of like a scientific base to them. But that's when you really need to master all the little subtleties of the combat system, use all the tools in your arsenal and at your disposition, and get in the melee with these kind of dual or triple or quadruple entities and being able to manage them and be victorious. So like I mentioned, here specifically, you can see a combat against a limbic entity that has multiple hazes attached to the Hollow Walker. That's when it gets really complex, it gets very overwhelming because you're alone, but you got your trusty little Cappy. So you need to use its skill. So for example, Cappy has a skill where you can distract an entity, either a haze or a Hollow Walker. You can use the forward charge, which is one of my favorite. You also have the Typhoon. You have the super dash skill, which is another one of my favorites. So you can start dashing sideways, forward, backwards, really, really fast. It gives you like this Japanese action game style. And then you also have your limbic skill. So you need to find the glyphs in the game and you need to attach them to your weapons. And this is when you start getting powers that come from these weapons that allow you to take care of these enemies in much more powerful and kind of like impressive ways. That's when the VFX and the sound effects all come together and give you this combat bang that we all like and love.